In the western part of the Atlantic Ocean, there is a region that does not appear on maps, but lives on in legend. A place that began as a whisper among sailors and pilots, and over time grew into a global tale of terror. The Bermuda Triangle. Within this imaginary triangle, over 50 ships and more than 20 airplanes have mysteriously vanished in the last century, leaving behind no wreckage, no distress calls. Is this area, where compasses spin wildly, radios fall silent, and the horizon suddenly disappears, the domain of a curse, a supernatural force, or an unexplained scientific anomaly? This is the story of the world's most infamous geographical mystery, the Bermuda Triangle, the place that swallows ships and planes. The incident that ignited the Bermuda Triangle legend occurred on December 5, 1945. Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers, took off from Florida for a routine training exercise. They were all experienced pilots, and the weather was clear. But a few hours later, radio messages to the control tower indicated that something was terribly wrong. The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported in a confused voice that both of his compasses were broken, and they didn't know which way to go. "We don't know where we are," he said. "Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." In their final messages, they mentioned entering white water. And then, complete silence. The 5 planes and their 14 crewmen vanished, as if they had never existed. But the tragedy didn't end there. A Martin Mariner rescue plane, sent to search for them with a crew of 13, also disappeared from radar shortly after takeoff and was never found. In a single day, 6 aircraft and 27 men had evaporated over the Atlantic. While Flight 19 is the most famous, it wasn't the only case. The Triangle's reputation grew with other disappearances accumulated over decades. In 1918, the massive U.S. Navy cargo ship, the USS Cyclops, vanished without a trace after leaving Barbados with 306 crewmen. No SOS call was ever received, no piece of wreckage ever found. It remains the single largest loss of life in U.S. naval history not involving combat. In 1948 and 1949, 2 British passenger planes, the Star Tiger and the Star Ariel, disappeared in the same area less than a year apart. Both had reported normal conditions in their final messages before falling silent. More recently, in 2015, the cargo ship SS El Faro, with 33 crew, was lost inside the Triangle during Hurricane Joaquin. In each of these cases, it seemed as if experienced captains and pilots had met with an unexpected and sudden catastrophe. With so many mysterious disappearances, the explanations can be just as extraordinary. The supernatural theories. The most popular theories suggest the Triangle is a hunting ground for extraterrestrials. Some believe UFOs abduct ships and planes. Another fantastic theory posits that the lost continent of Atlantis lies beneath the waves, and its ancient energy crystals interfere with the electronic systems of vessels, causing disasters. There are even those who believe the area is a warp in space-time, a kind of portal. The scientific explanations. The scientific community, however, offers more rational explanations. First, methane gas eruptions. When large deposits of methane hydrates on the ocean floor are suddenly released, they can drastically decrease the density of the water, swallowing a ship whole in seconds. Second, rogue waves. Scientists now accept the existence of rogue waves that can exceed 30 meters in height and sink even the largest ships instantly. Third, the region's unique geography. The Gulf Stream, one of the world's most powerful currents, can carry any wreckage hundreds of miles away in a matter of hours. Furthermore, the weather in the area is extremely volatile, with sudden, violent storms being common. In recent years, it's been suggested that strange hexagonal clouds forming over the triangle can create air bombs, with winds up to 170 miles per hour, capable of downing aircraft. So, after all these theories, what is the truth? Here is the most surprising answer. Perhaps there is no mystery to solve at all. The U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, and other official bodies do not officially recognize a geographical area called the Bermuda Triangle. According to their analysis, the number of accidents in this region is not statistically higher than in any other heavily trafficked and stormy part of the ocean. Many researchers argue that the Triangle legend is nothing more than a series of tragedies that have been exaggerated, misreported, or completely fabricated by authors. It's pointed out that many of the ships and planes said to have vanished were actually lost far outside the Triangle, or their wreckage was later found, but these facts never became as popular as the legend. Perhaps the Bermuda Triangle is a modern myth, created by a combination of human error, bad weather, and simple bad luck, fueled by our own desire for mystery and adventure. But even that is not enough to quell the pain of those who lost their loved ones in the middle of the ocean, or our